3.4 example, Soot Flower, a cute drama. So now that we've got some ideas for styles, filled in the checklist, it's time to explore what MidJourney does and doesn't know, or how it combines our ideas and words. I'm going to guide you through 3 book examples of how I would go about doing this. There are hundreds of subgenres when it comes to writing, and I can't cover them all, but at least this will give you a flavor of how you should have fun, explore, and trust your eyes. So let's have some fun, shall we? Our first hypothetical book we'll look at as an example is called Soot Flower, and the premise is as follows. Goth parents have a baby girl and try to dress her up in black goth clothes, but despite this she loves pink. A novel told from her point of view from ages 1 to 10 and is about how she brightens their lives. Example 1. Let's see if we can't get something out of the location because Whitby is a really gothic town. So let's try. A lovely pink sunset behind the ruins of Whitby Abbey. Childlike, pink, grey, black. Let's go to MidJourney and see how that works out for us. Okay, there are a few problems with these. Firstly, the Abbey is on the hill. Secondly, it's not really giving us any childlike vibe to it. And it very much doesn't look like a book cover. So let's reuse this prompt and add a childlike painting in the form of a minimal book cover design to the start of the prompt. And I'm going to add 20 to the chaos value. Run it a few times. No, this is 100% a misstep. And this sometimes happens, and this is the first thing I want to show you. Not everything works for a subject. You'll get more misses than hits, but sometimes you get unexpectedly great results, so always explore. So let's move on to something that might work better. Example 2. Let's keep the colours. Pink, grey, black. And try the words a goth doll dressed up in a pink tutu. Let's go to MidJourney and try this idea out, running it a few times as well to see what it gives us. This gives us quite fun results, something that could be quite striking, but the doll is a photo which is highly stylized. It's taking that style from the MidJourney standard model, and it's something I personally don't like for a book cover. There is too much visual detail, and I don't like the vibe. We need to move away from the base model, so I'm going to use this same prompt, the same subject, because there is something there, but we're going to add a mood board code. As I've been writing this course, mood boards were introduced to version 6 of MidJourney. It's very similar to style referencing. What I'll do is add a video at the end of this course in a bonus section telling you all about mood boards, and we'll explore them in a little more detail in later examples. But I have a nice painted mood board I like, so I'll drop that into this same prompt and run it a few times. Some of these I'm really liking. They're bold and simple, and tell the story in a way that potential readers will immediately get and will be eye-catching. So some of these I'm going to like by right-clicking on them and hitting like. At this stage I'm going to teach you another thing that I tend to do a lot, which is iterating on images that I like, making even more images by using style referencing and image referencing. I like the pose on this one, so let's drag it into the Create bar and leave it selected as an image reference. And then I like the style on these two, so I'll drag them into the Create bar, but this time I'll use the paperclip to make them style references. And then finally click on the text to have that as the text prompt, and hit enter and rerun it a few times. Pretty nice results, right? This iterating in this way helps us hone in on something, and we can keep iterating in this way. Let's like our favorite ones, sort them later. Example 3. Let's try the following. First day of elementary school when she's decked out in black but the other kids are in colourful clothes. Amusing, childlike. Let's see if MidJourney can handle this sort of image. Let's run it a few times and see what we get. This is really nothing like what we want at all. Horrible, in fact. It feels like another misstep. But let's go explore for some images to see if we can't rescue it. So let's go to the Explore page and search for amusing, childlike illustration. These are too light, so maybe add dark. Let's drag a few of these into the Create bar. Click on the little paper clips to use them as style references. Go back to the Create page and click on the text from the prompt and run it, and maybe rerun a few times. I'm sorry, horrid, not feeling it at all. It's a bit too cartoony, so this feels like a dead end. So maybe let's change up the style references. Let's go back to the Explore page and try delicate, dark, cute illustration. These are probably better. Let's add a few, hit the paper clips. Go back to the Create page and copy our text again. Yeah, this one definitely is a dead end. I think half the problem with this concept is the fact that there is too much going on in the image. MidJourney on version 6 is not very good with lots of elements, plus we want a simple, strong focus. If we're pulling the styling from darker images, it's not really adding our colors in the way we might want. Example 4. Let's try a family photo of a 6-year-old looking happy in pink as her goth parents scowl, with delicate, cute, amusing. Let's go to MidJourney and see how that works out for us. Oh, these are fun. Maybe it's not the image we had in our head for our characters, but it's definitely something that would catch the eye of potential readers. It tells a story. They all are rather similar, so what we're going to do is maybe see what happens if we up the chaos. So let's click on Use and change the chaos to 25 and run it a few times. A bit more variation on these. Or another thing we could do is reuse this and maybe add simple illustration to the front of the prompt. And let's drop the chaos back down to 10. Rerun it a few times. And this is what happens sometimes. We find a great subject, but the medium isn't right, so we can just simply change the medium and stick with the subject. I'm going to do some strong variations on the ones I like. And then like the ones I like. So to recap a few things that are worth remembering. 1. Not all your subjects will work, but you should explore them nonetheless. 2. Sometimes it's worth exploring mood boards and style referencing to take your subject and see how it works in different styles. 3. Some subject ideas simply won't work in MidJourney. That might get better in version 7 or 8, but sometimes MidJourney doesn't really know your subject, and you have to give up on concepts. 4. When trying out style references, keep trying out different combinations of sources from the Explore page. 5. Increase the chaos if you're getting very similar images. 6. Get the right subject but the wrong medium. Simply try different mediums. 7. You can iterate on images that are close to what you want by using multiple generations as the image reference and the style references. 8. Don't forget you can do strong variations on anything that's almost there. 9. Remember to like good images as you go along. It will save you the heartache searching through all your experiments later on. 10. Trust your eyes. So next let's look at another example and see how we can find the right subject. Let's get all romantic with this one.